Yo, yo. Forgot I haven't been updating shit in a while, huh? Haven't made any videos in a minute. Whatever. So, I shipped Wizards and Warlocks, accomplished my goal. Now, I was going to. My YouTube description says my second game was going to be a C only game, but I just couldn't get into it. At first, I was inspired by some card games. I was going to make a card game, but then and specifically, I was just going to make the same mechanics of existing card games and just put it in C++, just so I can fully do a C++ only project from scratch. Because I thought that would be helpful for me actually shipping a product that was just written by me, except for like some standard library and maybe some external library stuff. That's it. Then that switched to I don't really want to make that because it's not actually burning in me. I want to make something that I want to make. There's this final game that I want to make, and I don't want to make this other card game shit. I want to get closer to that, if anything. So I at least want to make the game setting match what I actually want to make, which is a monster hunting game. You're like an adventurer. So what about that? Instead, it would be text based, and it would be like I don't really know any other games that are like it. I mean, it would be super linear. It would basically be 5 locations and then a shop. You start out at the shop, and you're a guy, and you're like on the quest for gold. The game was gonna be called Get More Gold. I had it written up, and I was writing it, and then I was like, I don't even want to do this. But basically, the shopkeeper wishes you well. You're an adventurer at the end of his career, but you're fucking broke. You need money, so you decide to go on the most dangerous dungeons possible because those give the most gold. So you're gonna go on 5 dungeon delves, and you're gonna come out. And then at the end of the game, you buy a house and then retire. That's how the game ends. You'd have 5 separate locations, so we'd have this location class in C++, cool other shit, children, blueprints, whatever, or not children classes, whatever. You'd have 5 different locations. Each one would have an array of enemies. Say this one has 5 enemies, and then 7, 5, 3, whatever, something like that. They're enemies. You fight an enemy, and between each enemies, there's like a little transition text describing what you see in the area, and then you get to prepare before the next fight. Then you see the next enemy, you get one last chance to prepare, and then you fight, and then you go into the next. So you go through these different dungeons, and it's linear. Maybe we have a random generator that takes from a pool of enemies that are possible for this place, so that every run is different. So on this run, the Goblin Cave has 3 goblins into this, or a goblin, a hobgoblin, and a this, or maybe the hobgoblin comes early, maybe there are multiple of them, etc. There's just something like that to add a little bit more spice to it. But the main part would be the combat. The combat would be more reactive than any turn-based games that I've ever seen. And I was tempted to add time-based mechanics, but then it just gets too much at some point for what I want to do. And like I wanted to just ship it in a month, really quick. So then I was thinking, well, not time-based mechanics, but reaction mechanics, where say what you're gonna do. The character just always starts. It's just easier that way. You start. You have the first move. So you go. You can use an item to put poison on your weapon, or you can go and attack, or you can heal up, whatever. You can drink a health potion, etc. Whatever. But when you attack, you get to choose where you want to attack. So there's directional attacks and bodily health. So there's arm health, other arm health, etc. Something. If your I was thinking about like Tarkov, where if your head or chest hit 0, your heart or your brain basically, you die. Or if your total health goes below a threshold, then you die just from blood loss, just general global damage. That maybe it checks. Well, yeah, something like that. Maybe it checks so that you can't apply any more damage to an arm or a leg. So you can't just stab somebody in the leg over and over again and dies. Like there's no actual. I mean, there could be a bleeding mechanic where you take tick damage over time. We could say that builds up a blood meter and then eventually die, so it makes sense. But like if I just walk up to you and or you come up to me and you stab me 50 times in the arm, I'm not gonna just die. I'm still gonna have blood loss, just like I would if you stab me 20 times. So whatever, doesn't matter. You fight, but then the enemy has a chance to react. There are some different reaction options. He can like grapple you and then get an increased chance if he succeeds. An increased chance but maybe reduce damage at his next attack because he's closer. He only has one hand on his weapon. If it's a two-handed weapon, so he might have a penalty to damage, but a bonus to attack because he's grappling your weapon. You have one arm free. If that, unless both are already on your weapon, you're fully grappled, then he can just slip his sword in or his dagger or whatever the hell or his club, have an advantage to attack. But then every time you get attacked, you can counter attack as well and do the same thing. So you can grapple him or try and disarm him or anything like that, and it would apply different buffs, debuffs, or different chances and effects on the next turn, or the enemy's next turn, etc. like that. So it'd be attack, chance to counter attack, result, attack. So you can't counter the counter, but counter, and as a result, success or failure affects his next attack. If he tries and fails to counterattack, then maybe he takes a bit of damage there and his attack is normal, or maybe he fails and slips and loses his weapon, or loses his grip, so his accuracy is worse because it's stuck in the part of your plate mail. You have different plates that fold over like this, and it's stuck in here at an angle that's not actually piercing you. It's going up into the plate and it's stuck or something. Then he has a less chance or a reduced accuracy because in the same amount of time that a turn is, he has to take it out and then strike. Having that time, just strike. Attack, counterattack, attack, counterattack, attack, counterattack. So you can attack, and then it'll say what the enemy tried to do, if anything, and then he'll attack, a chance to react if he's attacking, then do your actual turn, stuff like that. I thought that felt more dynamic and cooler than the standard turn-based JRPG strategy of attack, 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 or turn, 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 something like that. Then I was like, oh, but am I actually going to be using this? Like, sure, these are some new skills, but the skills that I really need to be making or advancing, getting better at making 3D games, making better, more compelling experiences, learning C++ better, shipping a solo project like that would be helpful, but it is lower in the hierarchy of benefit as a programmer and game developer. It's lower in the hierarchy than making a different type of 3D game. So instead, I said, fuck that. I'm not doing it. Maybe eventually later. Okay? Code straight from scratch, whatever. I was talking with my buddy and talking about how, at least in some fields, programming is becoming, there's more prompt engineering going on in programming and more reliance on AI. So if I looked into the future and assumed that keeps happening, eventually there won't be as big of a benefit to code from scratch. Just like I don't go in edit the source code for Microsoft Word on my shit ever, even if there are bugs, which there are in Microsoft Word. I don't do that. I just use the tool that I provided. So my outcome of creating the game that I want is more affected by being able to take stuff in my mind and realize them with the best existing tools. And if I need new tools, make them. But me going from scratch is not going to help. If my next job I was required to fucking make a game engine for some reason, then being more fluent in C++ would help. But I don't think that's going to happen. So I think making another game is going to be what's going to help me get better at making fucking games, because that's what I want to do, right? So what am I doing? Well, my final game I want, or my eventual game in real life, I want to be most realistic VR experience possible and the best tech possible. So that if someone summons an ice wall in front of me, if an enemy does, because it'll be NPCs only, no multiplayer, better, I think. If there's actually a wall in front of me, and right now in VR, I can walking forward until I hit a wall IRL. So I will have walked past that ice wall in the game if it was in the middle of my room. And if I'm standing here, the ice wall is right here in the virtual, but my actual room extends to here, I could just keep walking until I hit the wall. The game could conceal what's on the other side, which would be realistic, by blacking out my screen as I walk to the, turning on the Oculus shit. Hey, you're gonna hit a wall IRL. I get close enough to the wall, blacked out screen, the rest of it, so I don't walk into a building in the game, glitching into it by walking through it to see what's inside. It would hide that. I want the game to use tech in such a way or be structured in such a way that you can't walk. You know the wall is there. Don't walk. Stop. Like, hit your head on it. Tried. I don't know how that would happen. Simulation in the mind. Neuralink ongoing. Maybe there's some sort of fucking dreamlike state or something we could create. Or, I mean, talk about exoskeleton. It's probably not realistic. Something that pulls me back or stops my legs from walking any further forward as I'm walking this thing. I mean, maybe it's just as simple as a shock protocol or something where you get shocked as you get closer. So if you actually touch something, so you just avoid touching, like walking into surfaces in the game, because then you get shocked. I don't know. I don't really know what the reality. But there would be monsters. You go to a guild, you accept quests, you go and you find, hunt monsters and their caves and their natural places. And they're intelligent, difficult to kill, and behave erratically, but realistically, plausibly. They're more difficult to think. They're smarter than tactic kind of behavior. Just different behaviors that are unique to each type of monster, etc. Bunch of things. The most complicated kind of enemies that would exist. That would be realistic, I think. But you'd be able to parry live anywhere, and it would feel realistic, and it would feel good. There's directional parries, good animations that don't look all stuttery and Blade and Sorcery like. I mean, I have Blade and Sorcery. I've played it. Oh, I forget that YouTube removed the thing where you can search in the browser and it pops up. See, I don't want to see this shit. Like, the enemies will walk. I guess you're invisible here, so you're just walking back. But the enemies will walk straight to you. You could just put your sword out, and they'll just basically walk into it. If they're outside of your close distance and your thrust distance, they will walk too close, so that if your sword is already there, they just walk into it. There's no check, rat. Not as enough computation going on to make the behavior seem realistic or at least plausible. What would be the case if we were actually in this fantasy world? He's sitting there, he's just backing up. What is he doing? Why is he uppercutting there? He's completely missing you. Spinning back fist is interesting. What is he doing? He's not attacking you in the meantime. Okay. He's walking with his sword up. This guy's walking back. He's not attacking for some reason. He's waiting. What is he waiting on? Why is he attacking even though you're far enough away? He didn't do a check to stop the attack if you got closer. If you were really close to me and I started swinging and you backed up, I might follow through to keep you at bay so you don't come back and close the space, but I might also stop. But they just finished the attack. It doesn't make sense. There's no short circuiting. There's no stopping and resetting. What is he doing? He's just standing there. It's always the same. I mean, sure, always the same animation can be okay, but I don't like the animation. There's too much wind up. They're slow. It's always this. It's never just thrusting immediately outward as you should. His sword is up here. Why? What is he doing? He's just defending his head. Magic shit. What is he doing? He's slowly putting his... Okay, I guess. Is he okay, blocking? Okay, he went for a lower hit, I guess. He just walks into range with a hammer instead of adjusting. See, here's the other thing. Enemies in real life should be able to realize, hey, you're holding a long stick. I can't get as close to you as I want to with my fucking hooks on the ends of my hands as a damn bug guy or as like a Wolverine guy or some shit. I can't get as close to you as I would want to because I'm within range. I can picture the area of volume of threat around you. And maybe I get poked one time and that's when I realize, oh shit, okay, I misjudged it. There's a little bit of error in my decision making, which is realistic. I don't immediately know exactly what your distance is perfect. But for them in the game, the threat radius of a player is the same no matter what weapon you're using. They just come just close enough. And all you have to do is bring that fucking pole arm down. Chomp! There's no brain. They're just stupid. This guy is much, much dumber. But I want to start working on smarter AI that feel better and have more polished attack and better sound and all the assets besides stuff that Unreal just has by default. I want to make more assets from scratch by myself. I want to make sound effects by myself, other stuff like that. I just want to work on. So I made the shitty little NPC, Blender really quick, super placeholder, shitty little sword I made, and then made a physics asset so collisions actually hit the body. Then I'll show you what we currently have. This is just from days or something like that. Wait, is there sound? Where's my sound at? Sound that I... Huh? Am I not plugged in? Oh! My headset was... Okay. Is music on? I don't want to get copyrighted. Okay, we're good. Right. Okay. Hear that. There's a tiny little fucking wind sound just from me going, how did I even do that? I don't even remember. I recorded it, but it was like, what did I do? I don't remember. I made that, right? Didn't I make that sound? I made that like yesterday. Oh, this might have been an air swoosh sound that I got online. I think so. Yeah, I didn't record this one. Never mind. This one. Never mind. Stolen Valor. Okay. So I like the idea of directional parrying. Mordhau. I was thinking this is like 3 days of work. But right now you don't actually have to parry in a certain direction. We just use the direction that you're looking to determine your parry animation. This and then it blends between. So there's a guy. He is a super basic. He just follows you. That's it. Ticks aren't frequent, so he just rotation is not great. If he gets close enough to you, he attacks. Boom. He's attacking too close. I need to update his move distance so that he doesn't come within range. He doesn't come too close because right now it's inconsistent. That's closer to realistic. This would be ideal. So there's a basic little health. It's just a print, but the little basic parry. Yeah, really it should be. I shouldn't be able to parry him that early, but like that. And any of the animations can work. So that's a downwards parry for an up for him. He's coming down. I shouldn't be able to parry him like that, but I'm trying to bridge the gap between Sekiro, where any attack comes in from any direction and all you have to do is press the right button at the right time. It's third person, so it makes sense. But I like looking in first person from Mordhau. No, I was looking at their parry mechanics. Here, combined with dark and darker. Well, it's not even parry really. I guess. Just block. Well, actually, that's. I guess that's parry. Let's do shield block. But the attack is coming down, and I look up into it to position my shield into the arc of the axe. I can't just go block and it blocks the shield. Technically, there in Dark and Darker you can, because if you interrupt any part of the weapon, it stops it. So you actually, it's a strategy to get closer to block the hilt of the weapon, because that will stop the swing. It's just a game mechanic. Is it realistic? Technically, but if I'm bringing it tight, no. You're coming in and pushing into here. I guess the hook or the part of the hammer or the axe will still come down onto the shield. So I guess technically, mostly right. Mostly realistic, but I like the idea of having to look up into the weapon. Right now, It's anywhere on the weapon, but it'd be nice if it was the blade is coming down. I'm here. This part of the blade. I can't parry him by parrying here. I can't just bring my sword out far away. He's still gonna hit. So I have to look up and block this part, so that part of the blade that is actually coming down on me, I'm not blocking here. This part of the blocking here, so it doesn't fucking hit me. So I'm parrying that part. So I want a game, single player, bunch of enemies, more intelligent enemies than I've made so far, and I want to get closer to the end I have. The enemies to feel more alive over time. And I want the parry mechanics to feel good and the sounds to be good and just to flow and just be more polished. I want it to just be more from scratch, so there's more of me in it. So far, though, I'm thinking the game would be called Parry This, and the game would literally be parrying only. But when you parry, the type of either a random attack happens, or when you parry, the enemy's attack that you're going to do, like another version of it, is him. So if he goes down, he's striking down with his longsword. Parry his vertical attack, a vertical attack hits him, and you see like a cut into him. I want there to be blood and dismemberment too. I'm not sure if I actually want to. If I want to add my own attacking, or if I just want this to be a directional parry game. I'm not sure. So far, the emphasis is on parrying. So, didn't have any parrying or any sounds. I should say. Some kitchen equipment and made that sound. Turns out it's easier than I thought. It's not near the end goal. The end goal is like a Sekiro kind of sound, which is not realistic. It's not what weapons sound like when they bang against each other IRL. They don't sound so cinematic. But I still want it to sound badass. I want it to be a fucking satisfying sound. So I'm like 30% of the way, maybe. I think it's a satisfying enough sound. It doesn't sound like a fucking doesn't sound very good. That would be bad. So but some of that crunch is actually kind of good because I'm missing a that kind of sound. Like a I don't know, there's just a nice two heavy pieces of metal hitting. That's what it sounds like. The Sekiro sound. Nope, not that. Oh, that, man. That sound is great. I want to play that game bad. So that's it. As for how stuff works so far, when you right click your guy, update. Well, right now the animation blueprint has states. It's constantly looking at this angle of your cursor, and it right now is this visual. Basically, there's an angle, 0 to 360. Really, yeah, and it looks at that, and that determines if I'm looking up, it plays that animation. If I'm left, it looks there. If I'm right, down, etc. Something like that. I could be here, whatever. All it does is take that value, plays the correct animation using a blend space that blends up, down, left, right parries together. So that way we get all the possible iterations for any values that are in between. Then the parry part, so we right click to toggle the parry. So when we right click, if we're parrying, then it updates that angle for the right animation. We do a trace, we just do a sphere line trace in the direction of the player's camera. And if we hit, we call an interface on the hit actor, which is this receive parry. What are we parrying? We're parrying the sword because I want to look at the sword, the weapon. Right now we only have a sword. Eventually I'll have this be a child class of a weapon. So much of this logic needs to be shared. So eventually I'll probably just change this to be master weapon and then have other ones inherit from it instead of making a master and making this inherit from it. That wouldn't make sense. Yeah, I'll do that. So same thing with my enemy class, probably. So what do? We receive the weapon parry. The weapon is either in a damageable or an undamageable state, meaning it can apply damage or it can't. That depends on the animation. The animation sets it. The animation for swinging the sword down is a little telegraph, so the game is fun and it's not a super smart guy who just goes bam and you have no time to react. So it has to be gamified a little bit, otherwise it just doesn't work. In my VR game, probably won't be, but dude, it got so fucking hot. I don't know how it's so hot. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I made ramen earlier. Here, thought maybe the stove was still on heat or something. It's really hot. I don't know why. So swinging down, can't damage, can't damage, can damage, can't damage. That's the animation. So by default, weapons are in an undamaging state, can't damage. Hold on, kind of want to listen to music a little. So if it's able to be if it's damaging, we can parry it because it's coming down at us. I can't parry it if it's just sitting on you, right? I mean, that would be a beat attack, I guess, but I'm not putting that in the game. It's too hard. So it's just not, I don't even like that very much either. Beat attacks are kind of boring, I think. So if we can parry it, then we parry it, basically. We do the logic that makes the player, the enemy, the NPC, do the parry stuff, but then we have to set it to being in undamaging mode, because if animation plays, the anim notify triggers, that says, hey, you can now damage, calls right here, we can now damage. Then I parry it, and he resets. Well, the sword needs to go back to not damaging because it's not coming down at me anymore. And it also needs to be undamaging because otherwise I can just spam the parrying at him, even though the sword is now here, because it's in a damaging state, which means I can parry it. I shouldn't be able to parry it like this. So can damage is also synonymous with can be parried. So make it unparryable. And then we play the sound at the midpoint between weapon is where the parrier character is. Parry, ding! That's where the sound is. Cool. What is the logic that happens when we tell the character, hey, buddy, do your parry animation, get parried? It's not you parrying, it's you being parried. So you need to go, that kind of thing. That. Coming in from the side, it comes back ish. So we receive the parry from the weapon. We go and we tell the AI controller, hey, we're being parried. That tells the behavior tree, hey, we're being parried. And that triggers a behavior tree task that comes down here and does stuff. After we do that, we update attacking status. Attacking status is whenever we're in range of a player, we tell the AI controller, set attacking status to be true because we're within range of a player. A service is ongoing and checks that status. So we update the attacking status to be false so that if we're parrying, we're not also doing attack animations because attack animations are driven by this attacking status. So the behavior tree runs the task that is parrying, receive parry, and then it waits while the parry is going on so that other behavior tree logic isn't going on while we're being parried standing still. So what parry animation actually executes when the behavior tree calls the task? Well, depends. I have an enum that I have set to be the current attack that this guy is doing. So whenever we do an attack, the attack task, there's only one right now, so it's just setting the value. It's just passing. Well, what is it doing actually? I guess it's just, this isn't even receiving anything. Or is it? Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, here we go. So whenever wait, what? Which one? Hold on. Oh, why am I looking at the sword? Whenever we attack, the behavior tree calls the task to attack, and so behavior tree is checking to see how close we are. We're close enough. It says, okay, attack. It calls the task to attack. That passes in the enum for the attack we're going to do. Right now, there's only one option, really, so I have none, and then cut down. Cut down maps to the enum has its own case value. Well, actually, it's an enum, so it has its own value, and that value is the index that corresponds to the right montage for cut down. Play that, and then we say, after we're done playing it, no longer attacking. That way it can check, hey, are we within range? Oh, we are. Set attacking, attack again. Here's the thing, keeps going, boom. So we can just keep on attacking. I'm standing in front of the guy like this. 1. Are we in range? Yes. Attack. Are we in range? Yes. Attack. Boom. Cool. And then after we finish attacking, because we're going to determine what the next attack is, later on, we want to reset the current attack so we're not attacking. Cool. What if we receive parry? Well, if I'm coming down and I get parried, the parried animation that needs to play is me going backwards in the direction that I was coming. If I'm swinging my sword this way, you parry my sword. Technically, you could parry the sword and direct it somewhere else. I'm just going to, for now, go back in the same direction the attack was coming from. If I brought my sword up as you were coming down, and then I attacked from the side, parry this attack, I would come back like this. I would go back like this because the blade was coming. So the parry down attack, or the cut down attack, corresponds with a parried upwards, opposite of a cut down, upwards, parried. We play that montage. Once we're done, we stop being parried so that the behavior tree doesn't call the task to parry again. Cool? That's basically it. Basically, instead of me telling the player a whole bunch of stuff and it handles it, it somehow has to figure out how the timing for everything works. I just tell this guy to tell the behavior tree what's going on. Then the behavior tree comes back and handles the actual execution so that everything is timed properly. Behavior tree is basic. Started the shit basically yesterday or the day before, maybe. At the root, we have a service going on. What's the service do? Can't remember. It checks the distance, so it saves the target current. Oh, well, matter. This doesn't do anything. We check to see if we have a target. If we do, we check to see the distance between the NPC, the enemy, and the target to see if we're within range. Range is just a variable. It's 250 for now. I can change it. Might depend on the weapon. It would depend on the weapon. It would depend on the enemy too. So that's constantly checking to see if we can attack right now. If we're not attacking and we have a target, if we don't have a target, we do nothing. If we have a target, we move to the target. If we're within range, we abort the movement and we attack. Once we've attacked, that sets is attacking. If is attacking is true, really, I guess this should be has attacked. Or no. This is attacking. This is I've started the attacking. This started the attacking, and that sets is attacking, which then calls the wait task to wait for the attack animation to finish so that we're not still running after the guy, and so we're not doing anything else. So we wait. But then, if we get parried, oh, now being parried is true, that calls this, which goes back to the NPC with this task that just says, hey, parried, be parried, play the proper animation, and then the wait happens automatically. Technically, the wait could happen after this too. Technically, I guess these could be consolidated. Either way, I'm not sure. We could attack, start attacking, and wait for the animation, and then finish, or I just have them separate. It's fine for now. That's it, basically. Next thing, maybe more attacks, maybe more parries. I don't know. I gotta think about how I want to. Maybe I'm gonna make it smoother, so you actually have to look at the place in the weapon. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna hone this one parry for now. One attack, one parry, that's it for now. It's coming. I shouldn't be able to parry down there. Plus the attack wasn't even coming. That I should parry. This I should not parry. Can't parry now. You can only parry once it's actually coming down. Alright, not parried. It's not parryable. Right now I'm not only looking at the guy, so it's not generating anything because I'm not parrying the weapon. Right. comes. Cool, so I don't need those prints anymore. So next I'll make it so you actually have to look at part of the weapon. Don't know how I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna check. I might just have a volume around the player, and if that part of the weapon is within the volume, then and it's in a damaging state, that means that it's coming down, it's coming towards me, and it's close enough. Parry. I'll do that, I think. But then that might mean, how do I break up parts of the weapon? Do I check to see if any of it is overlapping? Or, oh, maybe that's what I do. When the weapon overlaps, I have this volume. If the weapon overlaps, I add it to the list of current overlap. Oh, actually, at the time of parry, I check to see if the volume, parryable volume, is currently includes that sword. If it does, and it's in damaging state, that means I have parry volume. Okay, it's getting now. Nice. That means we've got the guy. He's got this parrying state. This is too big, and that shouldn't be omnidirectional. Because if people are behind and in front of me, I shouldn't be able to parry behind me. So this. The sword is coming down. Formerly, it was here. 1, here's 2. The sword has come down. So we'll say like this. The sword, it's coming down. It's now within my chest. It's now within range. Check. Is there anything in this volume? Yes, there is. Parry it. It gets sent back this way. And parry sparks and sound. Wait, what the fuck are these inverted ass notes? Boom. And that is trash too. That looks kind of boom. So that's what I'll do. Add a volume and do that. Shipping time for this game, I don't know. Initially I was saying 3 months, hopefully sooner. But it's nice because of 6 months, almost exactly, maybe slightly less, it took me for Wizards and Warlocks. Like 4 months of that was just straight networking stuff. I don't even think 2 months of that was, maybe 1 month was figuring out how to get the speech stuff to work. But no more networking stuff, just good solo experiences. That's what I want. Because my end goal would not have any griefing, not have any bullshit from other people in real life playing games in stupid ways that are not realistic, fail RP, or whatever, just not respecting their lives, that kind of stuff, not respecting the world, not like they'd actually be in it. I want you to be in it like you're in it. You don't behave in a way that's going to get you killed, because then you're done. That. NPCs you can craft to behave that way. Enemies you can craft to behave that way. You can choose to behave that way. But you can't control the other people that's there in that world. So solo experience is the way, so I need to be focusing on that. Plus my time, like 60-75% of my time spent on networking. Fuck that. Unreal networking, not like fucking C++, real networking. This is just Unreal Engine's built-in shit that I'm just learning to tinker with. That took so fucking long. So many different interactions and things within it. So easy to mess up. So plugins to make sure still work. Oh, yeah. Nope. This is just this. So I don't even think I need any plugins. So that's it for now. That's the update, I guess, on what I'm doing. Bye-bye.